Welcome. I'm Chris.
And I'm Chris.
And this is
Mike Fight. Let's get it on.
Episode 25. It's been a little bit of a hiatus we took here, Chris, right? We've been busy, both of us, back and forth. And my wife just had our third kid. He's doing exactly what little ones do. Keep us up all night long. He's going through some crazy phase right now. Right now, he is crying for literally no reason. Like, the last couple of days has been nonstop. So, but yeah, other than that, things are going well. How about yourself? Everything all right?
Yeah, everything's been good on my end. You know, I don't have the problems that you have just yet, thank God. I still have some time to enjoy my sleep.
Right,
and
sleep.
my sanity.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
but other than that, everything's good?
yeah, everything's good.
All right. So, a lot of stuff has happened in the news the last, month since we've not been able to record. So, one thing that just keeps on giving, he's like the gift that keeps on giving, is our president, Joe Biden. Now, over the past month, he's had the G7 summit, right? Yeah. At this G7, I think was the biggest representation on how poor of a president he is.
Well, it also showed, though, like how the world perceives the United States in reality. You know, because if you just watch our media, the media will tell you nothing but glowing reviews for him and talk about how America is back to being respected again on the world stage, and you know, all these companies are just lining up to congratulate us. And yet you watch the videos that came out of the G7 summit, and
sad.
It's not only sad, it's embarrassing. It's
sad.
Beyond sad at this point, because it's been said, like the fact that they're making this man go through it, whether he's willing to or not, is beyond. It's beyond that at this point. Because
it's on several fronts, because it's not only the fact that it doesn't look like the man has the mental capacity or the mental stamina to stay up there and do what he needs to do as president, to be with other world leaders, because it really doesn't. Or at least the clips that were shown or viewed, I should say, depending on what media outlet you're watching, you got to see maybe a competent Joe Biden or a realistic Joe Biden, right?
Right.
But besides all that, you look. It's either that he's frail and fragile, but also as even like a general diplomat of America, right, of the United States. The biggest thing that kills me is what he did with Putin. Okay, we had just come off a cyber attack. He was going to address the cyber attack. All reports that have been out there regarding the biggest, the Keystone Pipe, but not the Keystone, but the Colonial, right? Was it the Colonial?
The hacking one.
Right.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It
Colonial
was Colonial
Pipeline. Got hacked. Keystone's one that Joe Biden dismissed.
That's right.
And
the Colonial one,
the Nord Stream one is the one that he moved out of the way so Putin can control the natural gas
Absolutely.
in Eastern Europe.
So, but regarding the hacking, the Colonial Pipeline, he literally goes, so he was supposed to address all this with Putin. This was like the big meeting, Putin and Biden. They're going to face off, duke it out. Biden's going to really give it to Putin. Yeah, okay. Like, that ain't happening, okay? It's just, that didn't happen. First of all, it didn't happen, wasn't going to happen. Anybody who actually thought that was going to happen, I don't know, your head is so far up in the clouds, you can't even see reality anymore.
But you know what was funny about it, though, is you didn't even have to hear them speak at all. All you had to do was look at them.
Just look at him.
Yeah, Joe Biden's sitting there, looking around the room, trying to figure out where he is, what he's doing, what he needs to say. He's trying so hard to listen to his earpiece, to the God knows who's on the other end, telling him whatever. And then Putin's sitting there, like slumped over, arm between his legs. The guy looks like Al Bundy in Married with Children. All it was missing was him scratching his balls on national television.
No respect.
No respect and no interest at all in being there.
Nothing to do with Joe Biden. This guy considers him inferior in every single way. There is he's like, why am I even bothering with this guy? Why do I have to be here? That's basically what it comes down to. So not only that, but then Joe goes and hands Putin a list. Okay? And this list is a list of 16 infrastructure, quote-unquote, entities that are off limits for any cyber attacking. Putin, don't you dare touch these 16 entities. Don't do it, or else. Okay. Some of you may see, he's giving it to Putin. He's telling him right there.
That's right.
Don't do it.
Lists.
Don't do it. Yeah. But here's the one thing that you're missing. I'm going to say it just like this. What about companies, I don't know, or entities 17, 18, 19, every other freaking entity under the sun? Basically, he just said, hey, Putin, these 16, don't touch them. But everybody else, fair game. You dope. I mean, you moron. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Well, he's failing because originally...
Whoever told him to do that ought to have their head shoved up so far up their ass that they should never, ever be allowed to see the light of day.
No.
Who the hell? What is this?
See, you're wrong because the problem is that most of the people around him, including himself, have had their heads shoved up their ass since the beginning of the administration.
They love the smell of methane in the morning.
That's the problem. The problem is they need to remove their heads from their asses. Then maybe they'd be able to see straight and see what the hell is going on. Because he originally accused Putin of being involved in the hacks. And Putin said on numerous occasions,
I know hack.
No, that did not come from me or my government. It came from Russians, yes, but they were just Russian citizen hackers who had nothing to do with the government.
Yeah, okay.
So
okay.
Right then and there, you have Putin telling you that, a communist murdering leader, right? So what do? We go, all right, we'll take your word for it. But just in case you are the one hacking them, I'm going to slide this list across the table here. These 16 companies, don't touch them.
No,
please.
No,
Anybody else, have at it. Go hack the shit out of them. Ask for however much money you want. We'll deal with it when it comes. Hopefully they got the money to pay you.
It's just another way to funnel it.
These 16, though, don't touch these companies. And I'll have my media people push this story as if I was forceful and direct with you. Look at him, giving them a list, an ultimatum. He's going to have Putin shaking in his boots when he leaves that place. No, it was all just a game and a show.
Never
as usual.
Never a chance.
If the one thing that happened more than the lies that were being told at this summit were the amount of world leaders that were laughing at Joe Biden.
100%.
Laughing at him.
100%.
Flat out. They didn't even try to hide it.
Nope. None.
They didn't even try. There's that one video that went viral of the there was like the 7 world leaders that were sitting at the table and they were making the introductions. And I think it was the South African president who was the first guy that they introduced. And then they go around the table and they introduce the others. And as soon as the guy gets done, Joe Biden, who was looking down the entire time, again, I think he was wondering how his shoes got tied because he doesn't know how. Couldn't figure out how to do it. He looked at him like, what the hell? What's on my shoes?
When did I do that?
What the hell did I do that?
When did I do that?
While he's doing that, daydreaming into his own little world there, he looks up because they must have said something in his ear and been like, Joe, wake the fuck up. They're coming to you next. And he goes up and goes, don't forget the South African president. And everyone starts laughing hysterical. And they're like, yeah, we already introduced
did that
him.
one.
And then the other guy, I forgot who the leader is. Forgive me. You can watch the video yourself. He turns around to the guy and goes, hey, congratulations. You're the only guy who got a double in here today.
Yeah, so
you know? And it's little things like that where it's like, embarrassed. Like you're embarrassing us. It's embarrassing. They were laughing at that meeting to start that meeting. And then there was some other instances during the summit where, again, he was fumbling around. They were laughing at him. Media was laughing at him.
The media. The questions, like, if correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, I may be wrong, but he's got note cards for like everything. Everything.
Yes.
And not only are they note cards, but I think aren't, and I think he even admitted this, aren't they like designed in such a way for him to go around the room to specific people? With like, don't they have like little pictures of them?
Oh,
like,
he admitted it at the press conference.
At the press conference.
At one of the press conferences he held, he held it out and he goes, "All right, now I'm going to start calling on reporters for questions, and I'm going to refer to my list
notes
here that has
given me."
Yeah,
right.
And it's like you're admitting that
everything is staged.
Yeah, you need
everything is staged. Not one piece, and it's. Here's the thing. I am not naive. I know press conferences, for the most part, are always staged, right? For the most part, there's a certain way of things being flowed within a press conference. They have an idea of who you're going to call on first. They have an idea of who's in the audience. They have an idea of the questions that are going to be asked. So I'm not saying that this is like a earth-shattering news, but what I am saying is that to the level and degree in which it's being shown is unlike any other presidency before. God forbid Trump was hand-picking or cherry-picking, or that it was obviously shown that he had to read from note cards on how to answer questions from a reporter that was already predetermined. And in a predetermined order.
Yeah.
They would have his neck. Not to say that they didn't already have it out for him, but they would have skewered him. And you know what? I would have too. Like, what the hell is wrong with you? Do you not know that you have to answer? Do you not rehearse? Do you not go over the answers?
Yeah.
Do you not
prep?
Do you not do the prep for this stuff? So yeah, you know what? If that was the case, or it had come out that way, you're damn right.
His place.
I've never. He goes off on these tangents.
Yeah. And it's one basis, but you're at this on our media. It's on our again when he's just doing his daily press conferences or whatever. It's happening on almost a daily basis. But you're at this summit with world leaders and on almost a daily basis. But you're at this summit with world leaders, and again, forgetting his place, mumbling at this summit with world leaders, and again, forgetting his place, mumbling, going off on tangents where nobody. It's like mumbling, going
Nothing.
off on tangents where nobody understands anything that how What the media does is they either make excuses or they talk about how Republicans are jumping all over him and trying to make something of nothing. They can never just come out and say, yeah, this is a problem. There's something wrong here that needs to be fixed. No, all they do is they either make an excuse for him or they talk about everybody that's talking about him.
He's got a vigorous schedule.
Yeah, so did every other president of the United States. And I've never seen a president this bad having this much trouble at every aspect of the presidency.
He wouldn't even answer questions this past weekend. He said, I'm not going to answer any of your questions on Afghanistan. I'm not going to. I'm not going to answer it. It's the holiday. It's the 4th of July weekend. I'm not going to answer any of your negative questions. Oh.
Yeah.
Joe Biden getting snippy.
Oh, he always does.
Oh, and not only saying, I'm not going to answer any of your negative questions. Oh. Where's the standard, people? Where's the standard? Huh? Is there a double standard? I can tell you this right now. If some crap like that would have happened with the last president saying something like that, which, I mean, let's face it, Trump was really bad to the press as it was anyway, calling him a whole bunch of stuff, calling him this and that. And again, rightfully so. But I mean, this gets nothing. Oh, Joe, you don't want to answer questions anymore?
Yeah,
all right.
They just make excuses.
I'm
Okay,
tired.
yeah, he's right. It's the holiday weekend.
I'm
Why
tired.
should he have to answer questions? You know, United States
Oh,
government
the attacks
stops.
only are going up now in Afghanistan. Like they've increased.
And this is what I said about this whole thing. The schedule was set for May 1st to have everybody removed out of Afghanistan. May 1st. that was set by the previous administration. And this guy decided to postpone around and postpone it. And postpone it to September 11th. Why the hell would you postpone troop removal from Afghanistan on the 20th anniversary of September 11th? That when you know the Taliban is going to be extremely pissed off that you are now going to troop removed by May 1st and now postponing it and leaving them there till September 11th. It's almost as if you're asking for what happened to give you an excuse to keep troop.
Activity has increased.
And why is that? Because war makes money. Because war makes money. War makes money. I'm sorry. This is my opinion. Obviously, I don't have any, proof or any person telling me this stuff. But this is my reason as to why. This is the only reason that makes sense to me as to why you would keep the troops there. You don't need it. You train their military. They have enough of their own soldiers now where they can take control of their own country if they choose to. And if it decides to go back to hell again, like it did before September 11th, then that's their country. That's their choice. But you had an agreement to get the troops out of there, bring these guys home, let them live the rest of their lives in as much peace as they can. And instead, you're prolonging this and you're raising tensions between the Taliban and the United States again. And this falls on the 20th anniversary of September 11th, where a lot of, not just terrorists, but just criminals in general, love making a statement by doing things on anniversaries.
Yep.
And this is just another, it's another, just...
It's like another opportunity, basically.
Like I can't even think about the word for it because it makes me sick to my stomach to think that this could be a potential outcome or consequence of the decision to keep them there and keep these tensions going. And again, it's because this guy does not have the brain tenacity.
But let's be honest, he's not the one making that decision, right? Let me put it this way: it wasn't his idea.
No,
he approved it.
Yes.
So the decision obviously falls down on him, but it wasn't his idea. Quite honestly, I think Joe Biden, our current president, would have been in much better shape if he, from the first day in office, did absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
If he would have done absolutely nothing, I would say, you know what? I'm going to give it to him because he has done nothing and he has let everything that's been good ride.
Right. And this was said, I think Trump said this at a rally over the weekend or something, that all he had to do was sit there and just let everything happen the way it was going to happen.
Did Trump say that?
Yeah, because it's true. He had, everything was in place to continue the upward swing that the United States was facing right there, whether it was the border, foreign relations, or the economy. And instead, he rushed to undo every single thing that the previous administration had done simply because they want to wipe Trump off the face of the planet. And in doing that, they had no plan set in place to counter everything that he had undone. So now everything that he undone is blowing up in their face, and they can't even run fast enough to catch up to any of it. Any of it. And it just shows you at the G7 summit, you're speaking as the President of the United States. You're trying to tell the world your plans for the future, what you're going to do as president, and what you feel the world should be doing to assist in making everything a better place, whatever the hell they talk about, right? And instead, they get a hold of his cue cards in his hand, and everything in his cue card is Trump this, Trump that, Trump did this, Trump did that, Trump said this. And that got put all over the place. It was all over the TV. It was all over social media. Still frames of his cue cards that said nothing about himself or what he plans to do. It was just everything that Trump said and did. Because all they have is Trump. That's it. They can't go off of their own merit and ideas because they know that the majority of Americans
don't want it.
Yep. Their ideas are unpopular with the majority of Americans. And instead of pushing their ideas, they just push the previous administration and how horrible and terrible they are and try to convince you about how evil and bad they were to the point where you'll just hate them so much that whatever Joe does, you're just going to accept because it's nothing that Trump did. It's the complete opposite of what he did. So it's just another tactic where you're trying to hide the faults of your own administration, your own competence, by just continuously harping on Trump. And you could see it. The media, all they talk about still is Trump. Attorney generals are bringing charges against his previous.
That's ridiculous.
Thing.
That's nothing. You did 3 years worth of investigation for what? The guy didn't pay taxes on certain gifts? Like, that's the best you got?
Well, this is what came out of the Mueller report too. You had 3 years of investigation into Russian collusion, and all they bragged about, because they couldn't brag about anything else because they found that there was nothing there. All they could brag about is the 17 indictments they had during the Mueller investigation. And what were those people indicted for?
Petty
Same
stuff.
thing. Tax evasion, real estate
petty
fraud,
stuff.
and things like that.
And none of them, again, where is the big thing against Trump? You promised us that Trump is going to see the light. He's going to see justice. He's going to see justice. We're going to get justice for him. What justice? His COO gets, right? It was a COO.
Yeah.
His COO gets what? It's
going to
like
be a
it's going
slap
to be like
on
a
the wrist.
misdemeanor,
The
misdemeanor,
Attorney
whatever.
General said himself, it's going to be a slap on the wrist.
This is nothing.
No, but they're not
Nothing.
telling people what they're getting charged with. They're just saying the headline just reads Trump's COO,
Right,
you know,
indicted.
for
Or turns
for
himself
fraud,
in.
I
Turns
think, right?
himself in.
Right, fraud and corruption, and people go, "Oh my God, they finally got him."
This guy's going to pay a fine.
it's
He's
gonna
going to
be a
pay
slap
some
on the wrist.
money in back taxes. Going to pay a penalty. I doubt he's going to see any time in jail. This is going to be nothing.
No, but it's a distraction because what's going on right now in the White House is an epic failure and disaster.
Smoke
Epic.
and mirrors, absolutely. It's just smoke and mirrors. Pay attention. Or don't mind the man behind the curtain. We don't even know what is there. I don't even know if Biden's got anybody behind any curtain at this point. Like,
Well,
what the hell is going on?
I don't know. But
I think it's, quite honestly, my personal opinion, at least when it comes to Kamala Harris, I feel wholeheartedly that former President Barack Obama told Joe Kamala is going to be your vice president.
yeah.
That's who it's going to be.
Oh, absolutely. He didn't pick her off her merits.
They hate each other.
She had zero.
She called him a flat-out racist.
I know, and she had zero votes.
she
she
dropped
got
out before
nothing.
even like the first primary.
Yeah. Well, Tulsi Gabbard smoked her in the primaries.
I'm telling you that it is my feeling, and it's based upon what I've heard in media, based upon things that I've read in the media, based upon former President Barack Obama's words against how kindly he spoke of her, highly he spoke of her in the past. I've even read reports on how like stories where people think that him and her, like President Obama and Kamala Harris, were a thing or something.
Well, apparently, she has a history of
yeah,
doing
she's
that,
got
so.
that, but I completely disagree with that. I
Yeah,
don't find
who
any
cares?
other evidence of that. But
yeah.
but I mean, I do believe that it was President Barack Obama that came in and said, "Joe, this is who you're gonna pick for your vice president."
Well, then he's either dumber than we think he is, or she puts on a hell of a show. Because as bad as Joe Biden is, I think she's worse.
She's
I
got a
think
lot.
she's worse.
She's got a lot of things going bad for her right now, man.
She has no idea what the hell she's doing.
There is no such thing. Like, if there was ever a person to fit the description, political lightweight, that is her.
Oh yeah. I don't think she understood.
For that level of politics that she's involved in, first of all, she's in way over her head. So that level of politics that she's involved in, lightweight doesn't even do it justice.
No. It's almost as if she took the job, but she knew that she was not going to be able to handle it, because from the
Took her
start,
93 days, right? 96 days to go down to the quote-unquote border.
Yeah, and they only did that after Trump announced that he was going down to the border because it's all about optics.
It's all about
It's all
she
about
didn't
optics.
even go.
No.
Where was she?
She went, what, 500 miles
Yes, it was
away
just-
from the actual...
And it wasn't good at all. Like,
No.
it was a bad trip. Because why? Guess what? Some of her staff left her.
Yeah.
That's another thing.
Oh, yeah. They're leaving her in like
Droves.
record numbers. And they said they're trying to pass it off as, they were planning on leaving anyway at some point. She's been vice president for 6 months. 6 months.
You leave a staff maybe after a year, something like that. You see normal turnover after a year, maybe 2 years. Normally, anyone who's in it for the long haul is going to serve out the term. So you're looking at 3 years, perhaps. That's generally how like staffing works like that. And there's a lot to say about her staff because from my understanding, none of her staff has been with her at all. Like, there's maybe one person who's been with her even from her campaign days. Now, generally, that's not how it works, right? If you're running something and you get an office, the people, yes, their staff overturned, don't get me wrong. But generally speaking, you have a good core of like maybe 10 people that you bring along with you.
You always bring your own people wherever you go, yeah.
She doesn't have that. She's got maybe one. And a lot of reports are pointing to this one particular person as like the shit stirrer, to be quite blunt. Like, that's the person that is creating such an environment. And the fact that she...
So in like management positions where you're trying to be the cool boss, right? And you're trying to be the fun guy and the guy that everybody likes. Management positions where you're trying to be the cool boss, right? And you're trying to be the fun guy and the guy that everybody likes. But you're trying to be the cool boss, right? And you're trying to be the fun guy and the guy that everybody likes. But you still have to make sure that your workers are doing what they're supposed to do. So you put, let's say you're a manager, you put an assistant manager in place who's going to be your
whip?
Bulldog. He's going to be your bulldog. And you're going to sick him on your workers to make sure that your workers are doing what they have to do, what they're supposed to do, and what you want them to do, while you sit back in your office and you pretend you're the nice guy. And when people come to you and they go, well, this guy is, he's doing this, he's doing that, and he's really stirring things up in there, you're like, oh, well, that's, I'll have to have a talk with him, but that's obviously not coming from me. I mean, my office is an open door, and everyone always, everyone will always say, well, he was always good. I never had a problem with him or her, but this person I always had a problem with, not understanding that one hand tells the other what to do so that you look good, but you have someone as your enforcer like that. So I can see that being with Kamala Harris, where again, I just think it's either incompetence or she just doesn't give a shit. Maybe she just doesn't care. She has no.
I don't think she understands.
But
I don't think she understands.
She's been a district attorney. She's been in politics. It's like you have to think that she gets the game enough to play it, at least somewhat.
Not according to that question. The way she answered Lester Holt's question about not visiting the border is a clear representation that this woman doesn't know how, doesn't have the capacity for politics.
No, I mean she doesn't. Like I said, just look at the tasks she's been given since she became vice president. She's nowhere to be found.
No.
They're not putting her in charge of anything. They tried to put her in charge of the border crisis. She flat out said no. And then they decided to send her to Guatemala because, she wanted to go fight the source, according to her words, because, she thinks climate change. She thinks climate change is forcing people to come up to America. When people in Guatemala are telling her flat out to her face, no, we're going up there because you're telling us that the border's open and we have a better opportunity of living a life in America than we do down here. So she's not competent enough to handle big time jobs. And so they're keeping her out of the limelight. They're keeping her off the grid, and they're not letting her run anything of any significance.
This upcoming election year can't come fast enough.
Which one, 2022 or 24?
No, 22. Because, I'm looking at the end game right now because I look at an incompetent president. Well, I got a president who quite possibly isn't all there mentally. Good chance of it. A vice president that is completely inept
Yep.
and does not have the wherewithal right now, at least, to do anything in politics, at least at this level. And number 3 on the list. Who's number 3?
Merrick Garland.
If those two go down, on a plane together, who's number 3?
The Crypt Keeper.
Oh, Nancy. Oh, Nancy Pelosi. This woman scares the living shit out of me. She scares me. But she's number 3, man.
She is.
That's why I think the Republican Party has to do some serious damage control. Take back the House. At least regain the Senate. Hold this presidency to just hold it at bay.
Yeah.
If you control the House and the Senate, or at least one of the departments, right? Whether one of the sections, or whether it be even the House, just hold it. If I swear, I would be ecstatic, absolutely ecstatic, if they just were able to stop everything. Don't do anything. Because there aren't any laws that have been passed as of right now that tremendously disrupt the country. Everything that's been done is pretty much an executive order.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way, right?
Yeah, and he's just putting the people in place for when he does have the ability to pass something.
Right. So if they just can stop everything, I think we'd be okay until the next presidential election.
Yeah.
That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah, the Republicans just have to message right, man. That's their biggest thing, is they never put out a good message. You know, most people, if you break them down and you ask them simple questions about life in general, family, work ethic, most people, their ideas of those main things would lean more to the conservative side. Most people
always do.
Most people want a steady family, a strong family, family values. Not that they enjoy going to work, but they understand going to work is a thing. You have to do it.
Right.
There's pride in it, right? Most people are morally, good people, and most people want to pay less taxes. They want to have more money to buy things. They want to pay less taxes. And the Republicans just haven't figured out a way to push that message out correctly to the people that don't support the Republican Party. And I think that's the biggest problem. The Democrats, all they do is they harp about how terrible Republicans are. That's all they do.
And they give you shit.
They give you free shit, right? And then they go, look, we're giving you all this free stuff. Those nasty, mean, racist, homophobic, xenophobic, transphobic, rich people, Republicans, they don't give a damn about you. They don't want to give you free stuff. They want you to go to work. They want you to have to earn your stuff. And they just harp on those messages, and they make people hate the Republican Party and go, well, they're giving me free shit. I might not agree with everything they're saying, but at least I'm getting paid to stay home. So I'll go with them and not with these people over here. And that's what they do. It's like I said before about Joe Biden, how he can't speak on what his ideas are for the country because he knows the majority of Americans won't support it. Democrats know that the majority of their ideas are not publicly accepted. So what they do is they rip the other party apart to the point where you hate the other party so much that you're not even listening to what the Democrats are saying. You're just voting for them to stay away from the other group.
Tell us your thoughts.
And I'm
what
Chris,
do you think?
and this is where we drop the mic.
Do you think Joe Biden has time to be the president for the rest of this term? Is Kamala Harris the right